It's not a magic shot that is gonna do all of the work for you. Find a routine that's gonna work for you now and that you can maintain throughout. Be careful about what you eat after you take your shot. I find that I get hungrier like a day to 2 days before my next dose. My next tip is when you find a dose that is working for you, don't increase your dosage.
Whoa, oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh. Da, 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 da. Making our Christmas memories.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Keisha if you're new here, and thank you for clicking on today's video. So today we have another video in my semaglutide journey series. This video was actually requested by you guys. I wanted to give you guys what you want to see. I think it was on my last semaglutide video, my week 10. I got a comment that said, would love to see a 10 things I wish I knew about semaglutide before I started, or a tips and tricks video, and 12 people thumbs it up. So quite a few of you wanted to see this video, and I figured it's also a nice filler video in Vlogmas because I did not feel like vlogging today. So this is perfect. That is what today's video is gonna be, kind of a mix of like things to know, things that I wish I knew, things that you should know if you're starting, some like tips, things like that. So just like a little kind of like combination. If you guys are new here and you like this video, make sure that you subscribe. Also, if you're new here and this is the first video of mine that you are seeing, hello, hi. I have been on semaglutide from the time I filmed this video a little over like 2.5 months. I have documented the entire journey from week 1 all the way up till now, and I am documenting the current week that I'm on right now, which is week 11. So if you guys are interested, I will have the playlist linked up here. You can go through and watch everything from start to finish and catch up. Yeah, just come hang out with me. Let's get into today's video. I have quite a few things on my mind that I want to talk about. I just have some notes on my phone. There are some things that I wanted to talk about first that are kind of like, I feel like the basic things, like if you were to like, I don't know, go on TikTok. Some things that you would hear a lot of people say that I would also agree with, and then I want to talk about some more things that I kind of realize on my own that maybe I don't see as many people talk about. And then I also asked one of my friends who is on it, because we've had like similar experiences but different, like she's definitely had some different reactions than me. So I also asked her input. So I also have some input from her that I'm gonna include as well. That's enough rambling for this intro. Let's get into the video. I think the first thing that I wanna say is something that like I already knew, but I feel like some people don't. And I mentioned this in my like 2-month on semaglutide recap video, which I'll have linked up here. But I mentioned that I feel like a lot of people have like some preconceived notions about the medicine and think it's like this magic pill that you just like inject into your body and you just drop 50 pounds without having to do any work, like it's like a cheat. That is not the case. So the first thing to know is that you still need to eat right and work out and put in the work in order to lose the weight. This medicine is an aid. It's not a magic shot that is gonna do all of the work for you. It's just an aid, and it's there to help you and assist you in your journey, but you still have to put in the work. You still need to figure out what you're gonna be eating, calorie deficit, health, how are you gonna be working out, like what your routine is gonna be. You still have to do everything you would normally do to lose weight. You just have a little bit of a bump with something that's gonna help block out the food noise, which I mean, helps a ton in itself and helps you kind of feel fuller, faster, and for longer. So, I mean, if you're doing it the healthy way, if you're not flying through doses and eating 600 calories a day and feeling sick all the time, I feel like in a normal, healthy world on this medicine, you're still able to eat and work out, and you're just, like I said, feeling fuller, faster, and feeling fuller for longer, and not thinking about food 24/7. The next tip is don't do anything on this journey that you're not willing to do in the long run. Find a routine that's gonna work for you now and that you can maintain throughout. If you're not gonna cut out carbs forever, don't cut out carbs just while you're on this journey if you know you're gonna eat them again later. Don't cut out any like food groups that you don't plan on cutting out forever. I think that's really important because the goal, like I said, with this medicine being an aid, it's aiding you in the process of initially losing the weight. And then once you lose the weight, whatever you've been doing needs to be the routine that you plan on doing for the long run to maintain it. Because obviously, whether you decide to be on a maintenance dose forever, or if you're like me and you wanna wean off at some point, you wanna be able to be in a routine that is gonna work for you. So if you're cutting out all these different foods or following different plans that you think are just gonna be like a quick fix, that you're not gonna stick with through the long haul, that's how people end up spiraling and kind of backtracking and starting to gain the weight again. It's the same thing as doing like a fad diet where you're just like cutting everything, you're only eating salads, and then you lose a bunch of weight, and then you start eating the things that you used to eat and things that you were craving, and then you start gaining the weight back, and you're like, what's happening? It's the same concept. So whatever you plan on doing for the long haul, do it. I still eat way too many processed foods. That is one of my 2025 goals, is to cut back on processed foods, but I still eat a lot of frozen meals. I will still have a sweets here and there. I still eat carbs. Like, I haven't cut anything out. It's more like limited, and I'm more so following like the 80-20 rule, where like 80% of the time I'm trying to eat like cleaner, lower calorie, and the other 20% of the time I'm like, have at it. But I still eat pizza. Like, if you guys watch my videos, like I show you realistically, like I still pretty much eat whatever I want, and there's not a single food that I've cut out. And I feel like that is gonna help this journey be different than my past journeys, where I might lose weight within a few months, but then I would gain it back because I would try to cut out like, okay, no sweets, no sugar, no carbs. And it's like, be for real. Like, I'm not somebody that could never eat carbs again. I love pasta, I love bread. I'm not gonna cut it out now, knowing that down the line I'm gonna be eating it again later. So again, all that to say, whatever you're gonna do, make sure that's something you can be consistent with once you hit your goal. And kind of going along with that is same thing, but with working out. Find a workout routine that is gonna work for you and that you also think you would maintain long-term. If you're not someone that likes, you know, kickboxing or like CrossFit, don't go to CrossFit on this journey. And then when the journey's over, you just never go back to CrossFit again. Again, do what is gonna work for you and that you think you can maintain for the long run. If you just absolutely hate going to the gym, you hate weights, you hate going to the gym, go for walks, swim, find something that is gonna work for you in the long run. If you hate running, don't run. If you hate Pilates, don't go to Pilates. Like, literally just do whatever you want to do, whatever feels best for you and works for you, and stick with that. Another thing is that there are side effects, and you're most likely gonna experience some side effect. I know some people, like, I feel like me, I would say that I had pretty minimal side effects. And then like one of my friends, she had pretty severe side effects. Not severe, but like worse than mine. For me, I had like a little bit of nausea, nothing crazy. Like, it genuinely, I bought some nausea meds beforehand, never even opened them, really wasn't that bad. And it was only like the first few shots. Fatigue, constipation, things like that. So just kind of look up and be aware of all the different side effects that could come with it and kind of plan for that. I would recommend, you know, maybe buying some nausea medicine, buying some, I have these like laxative gummies that I used in the beginning when I was really constipated, and this Smooth Move tea that somebody recommended to me. So I'll have those linked down below. But, you know, maybe buy some of these things in advance just so you have them on hand if you do start to experience any symptoms. I know I've heard some people say that they take their shot at night so they can kind of sleep through some of the symptoms. I personally just take mine in the morning, but that could be something that could work for you. I would also recommend, especially in the early days, like especially in the beginning, like so with the fatigue would really hit, and the, you know, a little bit of nausea, like a little bit of just like, you're just kind of feeling like a little off. If you are somebody that, you know, works, you know, Monday through Friday and you have the weekends off, I would recommend maybe taking it on the weekend, like on Saturday morning. So, you know, if worst case scenario, you have like all day Saturday and Sunday to just like be at home, be comfortable, and like ride out the side effects. I took mine on a Friday because I knew I didn't have anything to do that Friday. And then I also had like Saturday and Sunday where if I really wasn't feeling well, I didn't have to do anything. So I was still able to go out. No, I did take my first shot at night. I took my first shot Friday night, and then I woke up in the morning, and then I had like a few little side effects. So I lied. My first shot was at night, and then I'm pretty sure all the other ones have always been in the morning. But yeah, that's something that you can try. But definitely, if you can line it up, if you have, like I said, a couple days where you know you're not gonna be doing anything, definitely would recommend that just in case. Like, I know my one friend and her boyfriend take it, and like they were really nauseous. Like, I think he had thrown up. I mean, granted, he ate fettuccine Alfredo right after taking a shot, which I wouldn't recommend. And he was like throwing up, very nauseous. Like, she was kind of like super sick for the first couple weeks, and then now she's at a better place. But yeah, just be prepared for all the different side effects and try to just time it around your schedule to where you can manage them. Just have some things at home just in case. And kind of going off of like the fettuccine Alfredo thing, be careful about what you eat after you take your shot. It's very common to feel like a little nauseous after your shot. I don't usually feel that nauseous, but I'm very careful about what I eat after I take it. And like I said, my friend's boyfriend, he has been the culprit of just like taking a shot and then like going out and having like a drink or eating something too heavy or too creamy or too sweet and then feeling so sick afterwards. So I'd recommend eating light, eating small meals afterwards. Just don't go too crazy. Anything that could lead to potential nausea. Try to just like kind of ease into it, be light on your body, and then kind of see what it can take. So another tip that I have is to try to eat smaller and more frequent meals, especially if you're someone that does experience more nausea. I don't really feel nauseous per se, like say after the first like 3 weeks, but I definitely get a lot fuller. So I don't even try to make myself like a big meal. I just try to eat a lot of smaller meals throughout the day. I'll start my day usually with a protein shake. You guys know I love a Premier protein shake. We'll have a link down below. Or I'll make like maybe like a couple eggs and like some like sausage or something. I like to just like start the day light and then just kind of like have just smaller meals throughout the day. Like I still kind of do like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but then I'll have like little snacks and things in between just to not overwhelm my body, overwhelm myself, not make myself feel sick. And honestly, you probably won't want big meals anyway. So something that I haven't done, but that I've seen people recommend if you are someone that is having more side effects and especially nausea. I've seen people say that they'll take their medicine because it stays in the fridge. They'll say that they'll take it out maybe like 30 minutes before they take their shot when it's a little more room temperature instead of like cold from the fridge. They say it helps them not feel as nauseous. Again, have not experienced that myself, but that's something that I've seen that I wanted to just include just in case. And then another tip that goes along with taking your shot is to make sure that you are hydrated and have some protein in beforehand. So I think, again, I'm no doctor, but from what I've experienced, hit your protein goal definitely the day before. And then before you take your shot, just make sure you have a decent amount of protein in and make sure you are hydrated. So usually in the mornings that I take my shot, like this morning, I will try to get some water in. I will chug some water, let that settle, and then I will usually try to drink my protein shake a little bit beforehand. I think I've taken it on an empty stomach maybe 2 or 3 times. And personally, I haven't had a bad side effect, but again, I know that people that do recommend proteins, and that's something I just do anyway. I just prefer to not have to take it on an empty stomach if I don't have to. So I'll just drink my like Premier protein shake, quick 30 grams of protein, sip on that for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'll take my shot. Something that I didn't even like really think of is that before being on this journey, my main focus was on making sure I wasn't eating too many calories. And then the focus on this became making sure that I eat enough calories, especially in the initial few weeks where I kind of had like a lot of food aversion. I was kind of like not really feeling food. I feel like the first like month I was really having to like make myself eat a lot. Whereas now, even if I'm not that hungry, like I don't feel like I have to force food down. But like those first few weeks, I was feeling like I was having to like make myself eat because while I'm obviously not trying to overeat, I'm also not trying to undereat. Like I don't want to be the person that, I don't know, I feel like I've seen people on TikTok that'll eat like 600 calories and be like, I can't eat anything else. And like, yeah, you might lose a lot of weight initially, but then once you're able to start eating more, you're not gonna be seeing that weight loss anymore. You might start gaining some weight because your body is literally in starvation mode. So it was interesting having to go from making sure I wasn't eating too much to making sure I was eating enough and tracking my calories to make sure that, like I said, I was at least eating like a minimum. Like I used to have like a maximum, which is now I do. I haven't been tracking, but like I have a maximum in my head that I want to stay under, but I had like a minimum. Like, okay, make sure you eat at least, like even if I'm really not in the mood for food, I'd be like, I have to eat at least 1250 calories, 1300 calories at the bare minimum. So I always try to eat kind of in the like 13 to 1500 range, but do whatever works best for you, for your body. It all depends on a bunch of different factors. Figure out what a good calorie range for yourself would be. And yeah, just make sure that you're eating enough. Because again, you don't want to not eat anything and then lose a bunch of weight. And then once you're able to start eating, you just gain all the weight back. I feel like the main things that are important to consider on this journey are, again, protein. Make sure you're getting enough protein in. I'm trying to get anywhere from like 90 to 100 grams a day. If I can get more, amazing, but like at least 90 is kind of where I want to be at. I try to drink at least 80 ounces of water. Again, if I could drink 100, that's more ideal, but I try to drink at least 80. And then I'm trying to make sure I'm getting enough fiber in because constipation was the one lingering side effect for me. And I've been really focused on getting my fiber in, and I've been more regular now where I'm not having to take like the gummies or the tea. I drink the tea maybe like once a week just if I feel like I need like a little, like if I feel like I'm about to go, I'm like, I just want like a little push, I'll drink it. But aside from that, I've been way better with the constipation, and that also plays into both fiber and water. So make sure that you are kind of like tracking and hitting whatever numbers it is that works, again, for you and your body. Something that I've had to adjust to, which I think at first I thought was a negative, but now I kind of see it as a positive, is that, again, I'm speaking from my experience. Maybe you won't experience this, but this is just from my personal experience. I find that I get hungrier like a day to 2 days before my next dose. So once I get to kind of like day 5 of the week, day 6, I start to feel hungrier. So like the first few days after my shot, I'm like good, not really like dying to eat, but not really opposed to eating at this point. It's just like whatever. But the couple days leading up to the shot, I'm hungrier. And like I said, in the beginning, I thought that was kind of like a negative because it's like, I mean, the whole point of me being in the shot is so I don't have to feel so hungry and think about food and do all these things. Like I'm like, I'll worry about that after I get off. But then after a few weeks, I started to realize, I'm like, you know what, this is actually good because, again, I don't want to be somebody that's on it long term. I'm actually getting close to starting the weaning off process actually, which is really exciting. But I don't want to be on it forever. Once I'm off of it, I am going to have to learn how to eat and deal with hunger cues and, you know, do the portion control. And I'm gonna have to learn how to deal with feeling hungry again. Again, not that I don't feel hungry now, like I still get hunger cues, but not as bad. So if that comes back, I'm gonna have to learn how to deal with that. So if I just went, you know, 3 months fully without ever feeling a hunger cue ever, and then all of a sudden my stomach's rumbling and I don't know what to do, like I feel like that would be really hard. Like that would be a really hard adjustment. Whereas now I feel like I have a few days of the week where I'm not really having to deal with it, and then a couple days where I am hungry. And I'm finding that I'm still kind of eating the same things. Like maybe I'll like have an extra snack or a little extra something, but I'm not like going crazy like I used to. I'm not going overboard, or, you know, I just feel like I'm having like a realistic snack to just like satiate that hunger. I'll like reach for my water. So I might have to, you know, adjust a bit when I'm off, maybe like get more protein in throughout the day and maybe change up some of the meals that I'm eating, things like that, like a little bit just to get more protein and stuff in. But like overall, I feel like it's kind of given me a little bit of practice with what it's gonna be like once I'm not on the medication anymore. So just be prepared for that you might start to feel hungrier at least like the day before your shot, and you're just gonna have to work on keeping those habits that you're building and working through those hunger cues. Oh, something else that I wanna talk about was that, again, I haven't personally experienced this, but just something I've seen that I think y'all should know just in case. Again, do your own research on this, but from what I've seen, this medicine does affect your hormones, which it's, for the most part, I've seen in a lot of positive ways. I've seen people who have had like PCOS or irregular periods. They start getting regular periods again, like it's regulating their hormones, which is amazing. Like I've seen some people get on it literally just to help with their hormones, which is crazy that it can do that. I've also seen stories of people say that like they've been infertile for years, or they've had failed IVF and they haven't been able to get pregnant, and then they get on this to lose weight. Or I've even seen some people who have literally gotten on it just to try to get pregnant, and then they're like within like a month, 2 months, 3 months, I'm pregnant. So it seems like it helps regulate your hormones. I've also seen people that have said that their birth control failed and they got pregnant while on it. Again, I don't know how factual that is, but if you guys are on birth control and you're on this, just be a little careful during your fertile window and on your ovulation day. Just be careful. So probably would wanna maybe track your cycle and just, like I said, take extra precautions just in case. But yeah, I think that is a really cool thing that it could regulate it. But I will say my friend that's on it, she said that she's been getting her periods early and it's kind of messed up her cycle, which I thought was interesting. It could also be maybe just like the weight loss or the you know, maybe eating less, things like that. I personally, my period has been pretty regular. I actually got my IUD out the day that I started this, so I don't know. But as of now, it has been regular, so we'll see. But again, just something to keep in mind. Something else that my friend had mentioned, again, we have had different experiences with this. She's had a big sensitivity to like processed sugars since she's been on it. Like she didn't drink coffee with like cream or anything in it for a bit, like any sweetness, and like just anything with like a processed sugar she had to stay off of for a while because it like made her feel really, really sick. I haven't experienced that, but like I also haven't, like I don't crave sweets like I used to. Again, usually like the last like maybe day or two before the shot, like I'll kind of want something sweet, but I used to be a dessert after dinner every single night person, and I just don't feel that way anymore. Like I just don't even crave the sweetness, but yeah, so that's something that she's experienced. She says processed sugars have been making her feel like very nauseous and sick. So she hasn't even been like reaching for them. So again, not something that I have personally experienced, but I thought it'd be, I don't know, I thought it'd be interesting to include other perspectives because everybody does have a different journey. Everybody does have different side effects and different symptoms and just a different experience. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of share some things that she's experienced that, again, I have not experienced. If you're finding that you're feeling sick after eating some sweets, maybe try cutting back on processed sugars. Something else I didn't really think about before getting on it that I've now realized is kind of annoying is traveling with it. If you guys saw one of the videos, I had mentioned that I had to leave last minute to go home for like a family emergency, and I forgot to pack it. And I kept telling myself to remember it because I was like, oh my God, my shot was in like 2 days from then. I didn't want to forget it. And it was right before we were going to our honeymoon in Jamaica. And I was like, obviously I'm not getting it out there. So I had my friend come get it from my house and ship it to me. I spent like $125 for overnight shipping. But even when I was looking up how to travel with it, it's just like an extra annoyance. I've seen some people like pack, like people who have like, you know, diabetes and things and like need their medication. There's like different things you can buy to pack it. What I was personally gonna do was bring it through security in my bag and then get like a cup of ice from like Chick-fil-A or something and just put it in there so it just stayed cold. I don't know. That's what I was gonna do. But there are other ways, like I've seen different ways that people do it. So, but that's just something to think about. If you're gonna be traveling, even when we got back, like I took it like 2 days late, and then like next week for Christmas, like I already know I'm gonna take it like, I planned out this week, I took it 2 days late, and the next week I'm gonna take it 2 days late because when I get back, it's gonna be like it's gonna be like a couple days after my shot day. So that's why this week I took it 2 days late because I figured 2 days late and 2 days late was a lot better than 4 days late. So just again, things that you're like, I didn't even think about, but you'll just have to kind of like pre-plan in your head. Either are you bringing it with you or are you gonna like space out your shot so where you're not like, you know, taking it early, but you're also not taking it like super late. Because my biggest thing was like, if I didn't take it until like we got back from our honeymoon and I was like, you know, a week and a half, 2 weeks late, I was scared that I was gonna have to like start over with the side effects. And I was like, I don't wanna deal with it again. So I was like, I was willing to pay. I was willing to pay the big bucks to get that medicine. Something else that I really recommend is taking progress photos. I do like stepping on the scale and seeing the number go down. Like I can't lie about that. I do like that. But it is also very satisfying to see the progress photos, especially when you get to the point where maybe you're not losing as much or the scale's not reflecting as much as you want it to. It is nice to like look at before and after photos and compare. Like I love doing my before and after photos. I said it a lot, sorry. I feel like sometimes in these videos I kind of say the same thing, so I'm sorry. But I feel like sometimes I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I don't really feel that different. And then I look at the side by sides and I'm like, girl, you look like a different person. So definitely take progress photos, take measurements. I'm too lazy to do measurements. I wish I wasn't, but I really am. Take measurements, get a DEXA scan, do other things so you're not just relying on the scale. But again, I love a good progress photo side by side. That's my favorite way to like measure progress personally. My next tip is when you find a dose that is working for you, don't increase your dosage. I know I had somebody comment on one of my videos like early on when I was like increasing my dose and they're like, well, you're losing a lot of weight. Why would you increase it? But I had my own reasons. Like I was starting to feel hungrier a little sooner than I wanted to. Like I was like up, like I said, like 2-3 days before. Now it's kind of like the day before, maybe like a day and a half before, but I was kind of like, I was hoping I could like fix that. I'm at a dose now, I'm just at the 0.5 milligrams. So I'm only like 2 doses in and I'm just staying there. And again, I'm gonna be starting the weaning off process soon. So I'm like not going any higher. I was thinking between this and then maybe one more, but I know the max you could go was like 2.25 and I was like, I don't ever see myself going there. So if you guys are finding a dose that you're comfortable on, you feel, you know, you're satiated, you're feeling, you know, your symptoms aren't bad, you're still losing a good amount of weight or you're making progress, don't increase your dosage. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because again, it's gonna be easier when it's time to, you know, for me, wean off. If I'm not on the max dose, then I have to come all the way down to nothing. It's like I'm not that deep into it. I'm only taking like this much, so it's gonna be a lot easier to come off of it. So once you find something that is working for you, just stay there. You know, if you end up having to go higher down the line, do so. And again, definitely talk to your doctor about this, but I personally wouldn't go too high if you don't have to. Also, I've seen people say that if you feel like you're stalling on your journey, before you start increasing again, try switching up your injection site. Apparently that can help. And also speaking on injection sites, I would definitely recommend switching up where you inject. I've read that if you inject in the same spot too many times, you could develop a lump. So I know you could do like your thigh, your arm, your stomach. I personally do my stomach most of the time. I'll go like right, left. I kind of do that most of the time. Sometimes I'll do a thigh. I've never done my arm personally, but try switching up your sites so you don't get a lump. And then again, if you feel like you're stalling. Also, my friend who I said had more severe symptoms than me, who said she was like a lot more nauseous. She felt a lot better when she injected herself in her thigh than in her stomach. Like if she said it helped with her nausea. So again, if you're feeling maybe more symptoms, maybe try not doing the stomach and try another site. My next tip is to be patient and don't compare your journey to other people's journeys. Again, everyone has their own journey. Everybody's body is gonna react differently to the medicine. And that's okay. I've seen people where they're like, I've lost 50 pounds in the first 3 months. I've seen people, there's people like me who I'm 2.5 months in and I'm right about 25 pounds. And then I've seen people who, you know, I've even had people in my comments that are like, I've been on it for a month and I've only lost like 2 pounds. I have a friend that's been on it and I think in her first 2 weeks, she lost like a pound. So not necessarily a bad thing. It's still like progress is progress. Maybe you're just taking a little longer to adjust to it, or maybe you need to, you know, look deeper into your like eating habits and your workout habits. Like, are you doing all these extra things that you need to be doing to assist the medicine? Because again, it's an aid, it's not the magic shot. But if you're doing everything, again, you know, give it some time, let yourself adjust. Progress is progress, whether it's a pound a week, it's still progress, especially if you weren't losing anything before or if you were gaining weight before. If you've been on it for a while and you still feel like you're not losing anything, maybe talk to your doctor. Maybe I've seen people that will switch to, what's it like, trizepatide or something? I don't know what it's called. There's another one that's supposed to be a little stronger. I have another friend who was on semaglutide and then she says it didn't work for her. I don't know. I didn't see her day-to-day life to see how much she was eating or working out or what she was doing, but she said it wasn't working for her and she switched to that. So we'll see if that works for her. But, you know, give it some time. Just because you're not losing as much as quickly as somebody else doesn't necessarily, you know, mean that your journey is a flop. So just don't compare yourself to others because, like I said, everybody's body, it just reacts completely different. Something else is to not be discouraged after you have like that, like, I don't know what to call it, like initial weight loss drop. And then you kind of get into more of like a slow and steady pace. Like for me, the first week I lost like 5 pounds. And then from there, I've lost pretty much two every week. So that's kind of where I've been at. Or I've seen people who say within the first week, they've lost 10 pounds and then, you know, it slows down. There's a lot of different reasons for it. You know, people say like water weight, or, you know, if you're, depending on how heavy you are, like it's easier, the bigger you are, the easier it is to lose those like initial pounds because you just have extra to lose. So, you know, once you have like that initial like weight drop moment and then you kind of drop down into like, you're still losing weight, but it's just like at a slower pace. Don't let that discourage you because that's just normal. Like if you watch my 600 pound life, like he tells the people that are on there, they can lose like 150 pounds in like 2 months, which for most people that would sound crazy, but it's like once you have so much weight to lose, it's just easier to get those initial pounds off. Once you get to a lower weight, it becomes a little harder. You have to put more work in and it's just like more slow and steady. But again, that is kind of what we're looking for anyway, is slow and steady. Like if I lost 5 pounds every week, that would kind of be a little concerning because I feel like that would mean that it was gonna be a little harder to maintain once I got off. But I feel like they always say like a healthy amount to lose every week is like 1 to 2 pounds to do it in like a healthy way. And that's like a sustainable way. So now that I'm losing, like I said, pretty much 2 pounds every single week, I feel like that is a very like healthy way to do it. And it's also making me feel more like once this journey is over, I'm gonna be able to stick to it because like, I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna be kind of around 30 pounds in 3 months, but just the way that this journey has unfolded, like it really is giving me the confidence that I'm gonna be able to continue this and then, you know, not go back on the roller coaster of weight gain, weight loss, weight gain, weight loss after this. If you're someone that is having a hard time getting protein in, try finding ways to like sneak protein into your meals. Say you're having your morning coffee, maybe add protein powder to it, or like me, like sometimes I'll add my protein shake to it. So you're getting like a little protein in. or add collagen. Collagen has a lot of benefits anyway, but then you get like a little bit of protein in. Use like bone broth in some meals because that has like a good amount of protein, or drink bone broth. Certain like, you know, tortilla wraps that are higher in protein, things like that. Or I wanna try, I saw somebody use the other day, they were like, I think they were Kodiak oats. They'd made like baked oats. So I'm like, okay, so like, you know, buying things with like higher protein and like oats or protein pancake mix, things like that that just have protein in them. So find just different ways and things maybe that you can just like swap out that you already use or like to eat that are just like higher protein versions. I think that's everything that I can think of at the moment. I don't know, whenever I do these type of videos, like while I'm editing or like later, I'll be like, oh man, I should have said that, or oh, I should have said that. But I think that's everything that I can think of at the moment. If you guys are on it and you guys have any tips or recommendations or things that you wish you knew or things that have helped you in your journey, definitely feel free to leave them down below. I feel like I'm getting a lot of new subscribers and new viewers from this journey, and a lot of people have said that they are on it or getting on it. So if you guys have any tips for anyone that is starting out or struggling, leave them down below. But yeah, that is all that I have for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you guys again in another video. All right, bye guys. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories.